Hi everyone, my name is Beth Mudharia, a secondary school teacher and a mental health coach. Today I want us to talk about child abuse or child maltreatment. When a child is born, it is expected that care will be given to this child from that time until they are mature to take care of themselves. But at times, this child may get some mistreatment or exposed to not being given the proper care or exposed to harm or potential harm. And when that happens, that child is said to be in an abuse. There are different types of abuse, and this abuse normally happen at home, in school, or in communities that interact with the child. There are different types of abuse, one of them being physical abuse. They normally tell me that when I was young, somebody came to our homestead. We were very small children that had been left by the parents. They had gone to the farm and they left 3 children at home. And somebody just came and found those 3 children and gave them candy, that is, we call them sweets in Kenya, that had been raised with poison, rat kill. And as a result, the oldest boy, that was 5 years then, managed to take 2 of those sweets. I was given one that I held with my hands as they told me. And the girl was also given one, and she took it. By the time the parents came, I was told they found that the boy was already dead, and the girl was very sick, and we were rushed to hospital, and the girl died at the hospital gate. I'm told that I was admitted for 1 week checking whether I had the poison, and by the grace of God, I survived, and that's why I'm here. That was child abuse coming from a member of community who wanted to do some harm to the children, to do harm to the family by harming the children. Physical abuse causes harm or injury to the child, and it may be deliberate or maybe as a result of excessive physical punishment. In most cases, the children that are abused physically, say at home or wherever, maybe they are not aware of what would make them be punished. There are no boundaries, no rules, such that a child is not sure what act makes him or her being punished. So the child is always afraid to do anything. If they do this, they'll be punished. If they don't do it, they will be punished. In such a situation, the child is always confused. Then there is also using of excessive or using fear to create discipline. The parent may think that they will control the child when they fear. So that fear is not good for the child, and the fear is causing the child mental health to be affected. There are also some parents that act out of anger, and the more angry they are, the more the punishment that child is going to get. So this causes body harm. Or there is a potential of body harm to the child. The other abuse will be emotional abuse. In most cases, this one comes from the verbal abuse, where the child is being called names that demean the child, names or negative things being said to the child, comparing the child with another person, like Some of the children will be told, you are stupid as your mother, you are stupid as you are, you just look like your dad. Such demeaning statements that make a child, that's an abuse to the child. And the child gets demotivated, and again, they get a lot of fear. Other children are told that they are worthless. When you tell a child is worthless, when you tell a child they are bad, other children are even told that they are mistake. They are a mistake to the family. They don't have any, these children grow up having no confidence in themselves. They can never try anything because they know they are useless, they are worthless, they are a mistake. They will never do anything, attempting to do anything good, because they take they have been demeaned, and they don't think they are as good or as important to anyone. There is also the frequent yelling, threatening, or even bullying. The child could also be neglected, by rejected, ignored by the parent as a punishment to these children. There is also the physical, limiting them, the physical contact. Children need to be hugged. Children, they need the parent near them. So when you limit that hug, you limit that closeness to the child feel isolated. So there are some other caregivers that expose the children to violence, maybe from the sibling, from the pets, or from the other parent. All this causes a lot of damage to the child, mental health or social development. And we should take care of our child emotionally, because emotional abuse causes a lot of harm to the children. There is also the sexual abuse, and sexual abuse leaves the child with a lot of guilt and shame, and they feel tormented. These children, not feeling, they get tormented by this guilt and the shame. Most of the children that are sexually abused are made to feel, or are made to believe, that they did something that caused them to be sexually abused. In other words, it's their fault that they were sexually abused. And these children, they feel again guilty. They also made some of the, especially when the sexual abuse is coming from a family member, they are normally threatened and told not to report, because if they report, they'll be the cause of family breakup or family breaking up. And the children, they don't know what to do or who to tell, because they don't want their family to break up. When this happens, there is a lot of conflict in the mind and the heart of this child. The emotions are affected by all these acts. Physically, they are affected. Emotionally, they are affected. And this again causes a lot of harm to the child. Then there is the child neglect. This is where the child does not have the necessary things, that is, the basic needs are not met. Maybe the child is not having adequate food, adequate clothing, and the shelter, or the supervision is lacking. Sometimes this neglect is hard to pick, because it may be coming not as neglect, but because the parent is not in a position to take care of the child. Probably this parent was able, but as a result of probably illness or something that has happened to the parent, causing the parent not able to provide for the children. And so that's why child neglect becomes a little bit hard to pick it up, because maybe even the child neglect is coming as a result of there is one of the parent, or the parent is abusing the drugs, and they may be having impaired judgment and ability to keep the child safe. So all this causes a lot of harm to the child, and their mental development is normally hampered because of this. Some of the warning signs of child abuse, there are quite a number, but in case you see your child is having bruises, burns that cannot be significantly explained, you just pick that that child is being abused. Probably you have left that child with caregiver and they're having bruises that cannot be explained. Find out what is happening. The child who could have been very jolly, when they get withdrawn and fearful, or they're having extreme behavior, check on them. Check on them. Find out, because they could be abused. So that sudden change of behavior or the school performance could be an indicator that that child could be having some abuse somewhere. There is also some of the children will absent themselves from school, and find out from your child, why is it that they don't want to go to school? And then there is also difficult with in concentration in the academic work. Find out, just talk to the children, and this could be a sign that there may be some abuse somewhere. So the signs are many and unique. So you need to have close contact with your child. So how can you help? How can you help an abused child? When a child gets abused, and they probably come to you and they tell you what has happened, in most of the cases, there is normally denial, and the parent could panic. So one of the best things is to avoid denial and remain calm, because when you are not calm and you have panicked, the child also gets the child also panics, and they may not be able to explain to you what has happened. So it is advisable to avoid that denial and then remain calm, so that the child does not detect that you are so worried of them, and they may refuse to talk. So remain calm and keep reassuring the parent. And the other thing, don't respond. Some of the parents may probably respond in anger. Don't respond in anger, just be calm. So, and as the child is talking, let them give their story. Don't interrogate in between. Because once you interrogate, especially because the child is traumatized, they may not be able to give you the whole story. So let them explain their story, and don't interrupt them. In that way, they will have a flow of what happened, such that they can give you all the details. So if a child has been abused, stay calm and let them give their story. One of the things that we have said, and I would like to talk about it again, is that we need to offer our children love and attention. When we nurture our children and they know that they can depend on us, there is normally that good communication between you and your child. And that good communication is very good, because a child will be encouraged to tell their story. The other thing we may need to do is that for you to detect a child and to help a child, let there be constant supervision. Don't leave your child home alone. Like I've said, we were left alone, the 3 children. Don't let your child be left alone. Encourage them to also stay away from the strangers. And here I want to talk about, when we are talking about supervision, most of us who are working, those who are working, when you leave your child with a caregiver. Let there be constant supervision so that you can always know, because the child may not talk. I've talked about the child is talking. Where the child is not able to talk, it's good for the parent or the caregiver, the one who is taking care, to constantly check, especially when you leave your child with a caregiver. Let you know what is happening to the child. Let you get to inspect when the caregiver is least expecting. Be frequent, but let it not be so obvious that you are checking on them. So those caregivers make regular and frequent and announced visit and observe what is happening. It's very important so that at least you can get to know what is happening to your child. For the older children, emphasize to the children and help them know when to say no. Encourage them to say no and to also leave threatening circumstances or situations. So let them know that they can always leave something or run away from those threatening situations. Let them know that they should say no. And when they are at home, and when they're staying at home, one of the ways that they could get abused is through the online abuse, through the gadgets that you have at home, the online abuse. So it may be proper for the children not to be alone in their bedrooms with the computers. Let the computers and those gadgets be somewhere in a common area, not in the bedroom. So it is important that we emphasize on safety. Safety comes in first, and let the children know that you love them, you care for them, and you are there for them. And this child abuse can be on any child. It is not the children of the poor that are neglected. Even the child of the rich could also get neglected. It's not the child that comes from a particular location that are abused. Any child can get abused. And so let's all be aware and let's be there for our children so that they will be very close to us, such that if anything, we will protect them from that abuse. But if any abuse happens, they have you to take care of them. So thank you very much for watching this video. I would request you to subscribe to the channel and so that you can get more of our videos. Thank you very much.